The stars above were silent, but every human ship in orbit knew what that silence meant. It was the kind of calm that came right before a storm. The Galactic Invasion fleet had arrived, thousands of alien warships forming a wall of metal and fire, ready to erase Earth from existence. Yet deep inside the human command ship Erebus, no one looked afraid. They looked focused. Humanity had seen extinction before. They had crawled from the ashes of their own wars, built empires from broken worlds, and learned how to fight gods with machines made by their own hands. So when the aliens arrived, humanity didn't beg for peace, they sent a message. That message echoed across every alien communication network in the system. Leave our space. This is your final warning, the aliens laughed. To them, humans were primitive, a young, chaotic race barely worthy of notice. Their fleets had crushed countless civilizations before. They believed humanity would be no different. The invasion commander, Admiral Vathazor of the Dominion, gave a single order: advance. From Earth's orbit, the alien ships began to move like a dark tide. Thousands of cruisers and dreadnoughts aligned their weapons toward the blue planet. But before they could fire, something unexpected happened. Every alien sensor, every radar and comlink flickered and went dark for exactly 3 seconds. When the systems came back online, the humans were gone. The Dominion fleet's captains shouted in confusion. The humans had disappeared completely. No warp signature, no trace of energy. It was impossible. Even stealth technology couldn't hide an entire fleet. Admiral Vathazor frowned, his cold reptilian eyes narrowing. "Find them," he growled. "They can't hide from us." Moments later, the humans reappeared, but not where the aliens expected. A massive shadow emerged behind the Dominion formation, as if space itself tore open. The Erebus, the human flagship, appeared right in the middle of the alien fleet. Its black hull reflected no light, and strange energy pulsed along its sides. In that moment, every alien realized they weren't hunting humans anymore. They were trapped with them. The Erebus transmitted again. A calm human voice spoke, cold and steady. "You have violated Terran space. You were warned." Then silence. No threats, no shouting. Just the quiet confidence of a species that knew exactly what it was about to do. Admiral Vathazor snarled, "Destroy them." Thousands of alien cannons fired. Space lit up with beams of plasma and bursts of antimatter. But when the light faded, the Erebus was still there, untouched. The alien sensors showed something unbelievable. Every single shot had been stopped mid-space, frozen in place, as if time itself had refused to move forward. The humans had activated something no alien had ever seen before. Vathazor's crew screamed as their ship began to shake violently. One by one, alien warships started to vanish, not explode, not burn, but simply disappear. Space folded around them like paper, and they were gone. Panic spread through the fleet. Inside the Erebus, Admiral Harker watched silently from the command deck. His face was calm, almost emotionless, but his eyes carried a weight that only humans could understand. The memory of being underestimated for centuries. Humanity had learned one lesson across the stars. Mercy was a luxury the galaxy didn't deserve anymore. "Send the next warning," Harker said quietly. A young officer nodded. Across the Dominion channels, a final message appeared on every screen. "We do not seek war, but if you come for us again, we will end your stars." The Dominion couldn't believe it. "End our stars?" Vathazor hissed. "What madness is this?" He didn't have to wait long for the answer. A single human drone ship detached from the Erebus. It drifted toward a nearby gas giant, massive, swirling with storms, and released a small metallic sphere. The sphere blinked once, then vanished. A heartbeat later, the entire gas giant imploded, collapsing into itself until nothing but a faint glowing ember remained. An entire planet gone. Silence filled the comm channels. Billions of tons of matter erased in seconds. That was humanity's warning. Vathazor's pride shattered. For the first time, the Dominion felt fear. They had thought the humans were children playing with machines. But these children had touched forces the galaxy had forbidden long ago. They had learned to bend physics to reshape space, to turn creation itself into a weapon. And they had done it not for conquest, but for survival. Still, the Dominion was too proud to retreat. Vathazor clenched his claws. "If they wish for war," he hissed, "we'll give them annihilation." He ordered his fleet to regroup and strike back. Thousands of ships powered up their drives, preparing to swarm the human flagship. But the Erebus didn't move. Instead, it began transmitting data, encrypted waves of light that danced through the void. Unknown symbols, quantum pulses, strange gravitational signatures. It wasn't an attack, it was something else. Then every Dominion ship received a single human word translated into their language. Run. What followed was chaos. The Dominion fleet's systems began to overload, as if the message itself carried a virus. Shields collapsed. Engines failed. Ships collided. The entire formation broke apart within minutes. The humans hadn't fired a single shot. They had destroyed an armada with information. In the chaos, only a few ships managed to escape. Admiral Vathzor's flagship was among them. As his damaged cruiser limped out of Terran space, he looked back and saw the Erebus watching him, silent, motionless, like a god observing an insect. He realized something terrifying in that moment. The humans hadn't just built weapons. They had become one. The message they sent wasn't arrogance. It was mercy. Back on Earth, the people didn't celebrate. There were no cheers or parades. Humanity knew what they had done. They had revealed their greatest secret to the galaxy, their true strength, born from suffering, survival, and an endless hunger to endure. In the quiet aftermath, Admiral Harker stood at the viewport, staring into the endless dark. "They'll come again," he said softly. "Yes, sir," his officer replied. "Do you think they'll learn?" Harker's expression didn't change. "They never do. But this time the galaxy will remember who we are." He turned away as the stars drifted past, bright, silent witnesses to a warning that had shaken the universe. And somewhere, deep in the cold of space, alien empires began whispering a new name with fear and awe. Humans. Admiral Vathzor's flagship drifted through the void like a wounded beast. The once proud Dominion fleet was gone, thousands of ships erased or scattered into nothingness. Only a handful of survivors remained, limping across dark space with broken hulls and shattered pride. Inside his command chamber, the alien admiral stared at the projection of Earth one last time. His mind burned with shame and rage. "Primitive," he whispered. "They are still primitive. No matter what they did, they cannot be gods." But deep down, even he didn't believe his own words. The Dominion High Council demanded answers. Across the stars, panic spread among the great empires. Every broadcast, every encrypted channel carried whispers of the same message. The humans gave a warning and made a star die. Most civilizations refused to believe it. Others began preparing for war. Some even started abandoning their borders, terrified of being the next to face the Terrans. But humanity didn't move. The fleet stayed silent, hidden in the void. They didn't invade. They didn't boast. They simply waited. That silence frightened the galaxy more than any weapon ever could. Weeks later, inside the Dominion capital, a secret meeting took place. The remaining admirals and scientists gathered around a holographic table. The air was heavy with fear and pride. "They destroyed a gas giant," one general hissed. "No known weapon can do that." "They are manipulating quantum collapse," another said. "It's forbidden technology." Vathzor stood in the center. His scales were darker now, burned from radiation and failure. "We will rebuild," he said coldly. "And this time we will strike not their ships, but their sun." A silence followed. Every officer froze. "Their sun?" one asked, trembling. "You would attack the heart of their system?" Vathzor's eyes gleamed. "If they can destroy worlds, we will burn their light. We will erase them from the galaxy." For months, the Dominion prepared in secret. They gathered their last superweapons, planet crackers, void lances, and antimatter storms. They rebuilt a massive fleet, larger than before, driven by vengeance. Billions of soldiers were told this was the crusade that would end the human threat forever. But they didn't know humanity was watching. From the edges of known space, Terran intelligence drones tracked every movement. On hidden moons and derelict stations, human agents listened, waiting, silent as shadows. When the Dominion finally launched, the humans were ready. Admiral Harker stood aboard the Erebus, staring at a hologram of the enemy fleet advancing toward the solar system. His officers waited for orders, but he said nothing for a long time. Finally, he spoke softly. "They didn't listen." "They never do," one officer nodded. "Sir, what are your orders?" Harker turned to face them. His eyes were calm. "Activate Protocol Solstice. The room went silent. Protocol Solstice had never been used, not even during humanity's darkest wars. It wasn't a weapon. It was something else. Something the galaxy had sworn should never exist again. Every Terran ship received the same command. Across the solar defense grid, massive energy cores came alive. The void rippled as invisible distortions began spreading outward. When the Dominion fleet entered the system, they saw nothing at first. Just empty space and a quiet blue planet far away. But then something began to move behind the sun. Massive shapes emerged, ancient and monstrous, larger than cities. They weren't warships. They were machines, constructs built into the bones of the solar system itself. The aliens couldn't believe what they saw. Humanity had turned their star into a living fortress. Admiral Vathzor snarled, "Fire all weapons!" Thousands of plasma beams and energy torpedoes streaked toward the hidden machines. But before they could hit, the sun flared. Blinding light flooded space, and every weapon vanished as if swallowed by fire. The Dominion fleet's shields melted. Sensors overloaded, then came the voice. "Calm. Human. Ancient. We warned you." From behind the solar glare, the Erebus appeared again. But it wasn't alone this time. Entire human fleets decloaked. Hundreds of ships, each radiating power like small stars. Their formation surrounded the Dominion fleet completely. For a moment, Vathzor hesitated. He had expected war, but not this scale. Not this silence. The humans didn't taunt him. They didn't demand surrender. They simply waited for his choice. Then, one by one, the Dominion ships began to break apart. Not from human fire, but from their own systems collapsing. The humans had infected them again, through the same signal that once made them run. Their technology was no longer theirs, it belonged to humanity now. The fleet's engines died. The void grew quiet again. Vathzor screamed in fury. "You think you can erase us with fear?" He shouted into the comm. "We will never kneel." Admiral Harker's voice came back, calm and steady. "We never asked you to kneel. We asked you to leave," the alien admiral roared, slamming his claws against the console. "You cannot stop the Dominion." Harker paused, then said one final word. "Watch." The Erebus shifted position, aligning with the sun. Strange energy fields rippled outward, bending light and space together. The Dominion scanners showed something impossible. The mass of the sun was changing. Then it happened. The sun pulsed once, and a beam of pure golden light shot outward. Not as a weapon, but as a warning. It passed through the Dominion fleet harmlessly. But everywhere it touched, their ship's systems turned transparent, revealing their energy signatures and life signs. Every Dominion officer could now see the entire fleet, every terrified heartbeat, every spark of fear. They understood the message. The humans could see everything. Harker's voice echoed through every ship. "This light is the last mercy you will ever receive. Take it and go." Some Dominion ships fled instantly. Others tried to resist. Those that stayed behind vanished, silently, painlessly, erased by a single pulse of light. No explosion, no wreckage. Just absence. Within hours, the war was over. The Dominion High Council surrendered what was left of their empire. They sent an official transmission to Earth, a plea for peace. For the first time in history, the most powerful alien empire had bowed to humankind, but the humans didn't respond. Days turned into weeks. Across the galaxy, empires waited for Earth's answer. None came. Humanity had vanished again, gone dark, leaving behind only stories and fear. Rumors began to spread. Some said the humans had left the galaxy to guard the stars beyond. Others said they had transcended, becoming part of the very fabric of space. And some believed they still watched, waiting for the next invasion, to remind everyone what happens when warnings are ignored. Years later, a small Dominion scout ship entered the Sol system by mistake. The crew found no human transmissions, no active defenses, just silence. Then they saw it, the remains of the Erebus floating quietly near the sun. Its hull was intact, but its lights were dark. They approached carefully, scanning its surface. The readings showed faint human life signs, but distorted as if out of time. One of the crew suggested leaving. Another wanted to enter. When they tried to open communications, a weak human signal answered. "Leave," the voice whispered. The crew froze. The voice came not from inside the ship, but from everywhere. The sun, the void, the dust between stars, it all spoke as one. "Leave. While you can. The Dominion ship turned immediately and fled. When they returned home, their sensors showed something terrifying. The Erebus was gone again as if it had never existed. That day, the Dominion finally understood. The humans hadn't disappeared. They had become something else. Guardians of the cosmic order, unseen but ever present. From that day on, no alien fleet ever dared to invade human space again. Children across alien worlds grew up hearing the same bedtime warning whispered by their elders.